Hi guys! So Macy Lou here, and today we're going to discuss how to find your art style. So the first step that I would give is to follow and look up to multiple artists, not just one. And the reason is you don't want to feel too much like any one artist in your work and the way that you do your techniques, and just in the way that your art looks. So try to follow and look up to multiple artists. This will help you be more unique because you're going to just subconsciously kind of soak in different elements into your work from all these different sources. Tip number 2 is instead of tapping like on an artwork and just moving on, think about what elements of that artwork you like specifically. So if there is a gorgeous fantasy oil painting of just this amazing woman with this beautiful rainbow hair, and maybe she is part unicorn, or maybe she's in a lake, bathing in a lake or something. Think about what specifically about this artwork that you love. Do you love the subject matter? Do you love the way they did the colors? Do you love the brush strokes? What are your things that you love from this specific artwork? Because there's a reason behind you tapping like on this artwork. Especially, there's a reason if you end up wanting to comment on the artwork. I mean, especially if you want to leave an actual comment, then it is definitely a piece of art that has engaged you. And really think about why that is, why that art piece engaged you. So tip number 3 is evaluate your favorite art styles you've seen, and not only which ones you love best, but which ones you'd like to actually create. So what I mean by this is you want your art process, your art creation process, to be fun and interesting to you. So for example, if you, let's say you love realism, you love looking at realism, and you really find realism interesting, and it's an art style that you would love to have hanging in your home. But what if you actually wouldn't like to create that type of art? What if that takes way too much time for you and you don't find the time that it takes worth it? What if you don't like creating realistic art? And sometimes you're not going to know this until you try this out and experiment. But basically the idea behind this tip is don't only look at art as, oh, I like how this art looks, so therefore I want art, or I want my art to kind of emulate this. Think of the process behind it as well, because it can be very tough to do realism and surreal pieces. They can take a lot of time, and if you don't want to invest that much time into each individual piece, maybe rethink what kind of style you should do, because you don't just want your style to be something that you like to look at. You also want it to be fun for you to create and exciting for you to go to your studio and actually work on. So tip number 4 is try not to be ashamed, because styles grow and evolve constantly. Don't be ashamed of your work, no matter what level you're at. You may be at a skill level that you wish you weren't at right now. You may want to be better skilled at what you do, but don't be ashamed, because every successful artist out there, think about this for a minute, they've been at a lower skill level at some point in their life. They did not come out of the womb with amazing realism skills. These were built over time. So don't be ashamed of where you're at in your skill level and where you're at in your process and your growth of your style, because when you look back at your older works, when you actually, kind of develop your style further in the future, when you look back at these older works that you're creating right now, you're going to have so much fun comparing your old work to your new work. And it's not that you're shaming your old work, it's just that you're showing your growth, and you're showing that you have learned something, that you have developed skills. And I think that that's super important. I think that really helps with the artist's mindset and the positivity surrounding their work. I think it really helps them grow. I think it helps them realize that their hard work is paying off when they're able to look back at older work and see the improvement. So don't be ashamed of your current style and the current skill set you have and the state that you're in right now. And there's likely not an end point to your art style. It's in constant development, so don't expect you to literally find your style as if you're searching in the jungle for something, like as if you're in a game and you're looking for a treasure chest. Like maybe you're playing Sea of Thieves and you're trying to find a treasure chest or something, just as an example. Like, that's not how finding your style works. You don't literally just one day wake up and have an epiphany and have an art style. It's in constant development over time. And your art style might start out kind of mimicking artists that you like, but if you keep developing and you keep practicing and you keep kind of moving in your own direction, then you can eventually see where your style diverges from looking like everyone else's around you to looking like your own. And this will take time and patience. But yeah, tip number 5, be flexible and open-minded to new things. There may be techniques or mediums that you don't want to try that you'll never know your love for that technique or medium if you don't give it a go. I'm a huge example of this. I used to hate painting, and I mean hate. I really just wanted to draw all day. I wanted to draw, I wanted to doodle on a scratch piece of paper with a mechanical pencil. That's all I wanted to do. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. If that's your art style, go for it. But I saw these other amazing art pieces in the world, and I wanted to be able to contribute this amazing just range of like colorful artworks and shading and lighting scenarios and surreal images and maybe even a little bit of realism mixed with my stylized style. I wanted to be able to be just very open and flexible, and I wanted to try new things. So eventually I tried painting. I hated it at first. I was stubborn with it. I did not like it, but I kept pushing myself because somewhere along the way, I don't know when exactly it happened. It's very interesting to me to talk about still, but somewhere along the way, my hate for painting turned into a love for it. And I know that that sounds really cheesy and kind of weird and ironic, and it kind of is, but somewhere along the way, the act of painting became therapeutic for me. It helped me relieve stress. It helped me get into a almost meditative mindset, which is really interesting to me. And it kind of helped me work out things in my own mind. So like, it wasn't just about creating a pretty piece of art anymore. It was about the entire human experience creating this piece of art. And I know that sounds so strange, but it's true for me, and everybody's going to be different, have a different viewpoint on this. But back when I was in high school, I hated painting so much. Now, I don't want to blanket statement that. Let's put it this way. I didn't like painting very much, and I did not enjoy it, except for maybe the occasional watercolor doodle painting in my sketchbook. But overall, I did not like the idea of creating a painting, this completely finalized, set in stone painting, this piece that I could hold in my hand and a painting. I just wanted to draw. I wanted to illustrate. I was very illustrative back then. And my first acrylic piece that I felt confident about was a self-portrait I did by finger painting, because I learned that I struggled with paintbrushes themselves. It wasn't so much the medium of paints. It was more of the tool of the paintbrush that I struggled with. So I started out finger painting. And, well, I didn't start out finger painting, but I started out that piece finger painting. And I did that entire piece finger painting, and I realized that it looked better than my brushwork, than my paintbrush artwork. And I found it super interesting, and so I still kind of was against painting, and mostly because of the paintbrush situation. But eventually, fast forward to adulthood and my 20s, like my mid-20s, I was like, oh, wait, paintbrushes aren't that scary. Yeah, I still kind of suck at painting, and it's still not really where I want it to be. My style was not anywhere where I wanted it to be. even last year, but especially in 2016, 2015, I really felt like I sucked at painting, right? But that's also a matter of subjectivity and perspective. Someone out there may love my older paintings, but it wasn't my goal. Like, my goal wasn't to create those particular looking paintings. I was trying for something totally different, and the end result was coming out not how I wanted. So, long story short, I eventually fell in love with painting, and I eventually also got better at painting. And it was through the act of painting. I know this sounds so just duh, but what I'm trying to get at is, with your art style, try not to pigeonhole yourself into one medium, one style, one way of working, and one process, because this can, you could still develop a style that way. It's not that you can't, it's just, what if you tried? Like, there's a what if statement there. Like, if you just stay with the mediums that you always use, like, you'll never know, dude. Like, I'm so happy that I tried painting, because it ended up being my favorite thing. It ended up being my favorite thing. Like, I love painting way more than drawing now, which is so ironic to me, and I find it super interesting. But that's why I have that tip on this list, because it's not that you have to be a painter. Not at all. It's more of like, what are some mediums that you just are stubborn about and you just hate, or you think you hate? Mostly because you haven't really tried them that much. Maybe try them. You may still hate them. That's fine. But what if you don't hate them anymore? What if you fall in love with them? And what if your best work comes from your process of developing your skills in that medium? It's pretty powerful stuff. But yeah, that's that tip. And let's see, the last tip is be patient. Be patient. Don't try to rush your style. Don't try to rush your art process. Don't try to rush yourself. Now, yeah, if you have deadlines, you gotta hurry. You gotta rush yourself to an extent. But don't try to rush your art style itself. Because you want to be easy on yourself a little bit. You don't want to beat yourself up, because, it's gonna be harder and harder for you to keep going if you're constantly negative in your own mind space about yourself, and like beating yourself up, saying, oh, you're not good enough, you're not advancing your style fast enough or quick enough, your style sucks. Like, if you're telling yourself this all the time, it's just gonna make you feel bad, and it's gonna make you feel like you don't want to work on your art, because who wants to constantly go to the easel or go to the sketchbook and have that going on in their brain and in their mind and their thoughts? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to hear this negative voice every time that they go to create art. So try to train yourself to be more positive minded about it. Try to think of like, well, what could happen if I try this? Like, the possibilities are endless, you could, like, who knows, dude? Like, right now you might just be sketching your sketchbook, but one day you might be like this crazy, like, well-known watercolor artist. Or you might be known for doing really tiny, like, little miniature paintings. Or you might be really well known for doing huge pieces of art that take up, like, all kinds of wall space, and require a huge art studio. And, like, you never know where you're going to end up, right? So I think that it really, really can help you get self-confidence, too, in your art and your art style, if you have tried a lot of things, because it kind of gives you this sense of experience under your belt. It kind of makes you feel like a more seasoned artist, too, if you've tried a lot of different things and dipped your toes in a lot of different things that you formerly wouldn't even give a shot, wouldn't even try. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful, and I just want to go ahead and apologize for two things in this video. One being the visual, well, the whole thing being the visual, when I switched the camera perspective on this eye painting, and I realized it was a mistake because my hand was blocking. Sorry for that. I was having a lighting issue that day, and I was trying to paint at night, so it was a struggle. But the other thing is, when I signed this painting, I realized that you guys can't really see that well what I'm doing, and I'm sorry for that too. But, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still figuring this stuff out. And I really love how this eye painting turned out, and it's called Naiad Eye. And it is not yet available as prints, and I normally try to make that a thing by the time the video comes out. And it may be available by the time this video is out, but I am recording this voiceover super early. Like, I'm recording this voiceover on Tuesday, the 10th, so just to let you guys know, if you're interested in a print of this artwork, look in the video description, because as soon as prints become available of this artwork, I will put a link in my description. And I'm not sure yet. I haven't been able, since I haven't scanned it in yet because it's still wet, I haven't been able to decide if I'm going to make it into tote bags and cups and pillows and stuff like that. I'm not sure about that yet, but again, if they're available, or if it's available as these things, it will be linked in the description. So anyway, I hope you guys got a lot of use out of this video. I hope it helped a lot, and let me know in the comments what you think about finding your style. Like, how do you guys find your art styles? What are some tips you might have for new artists down in the comment section? But another thing is, I want you to like and share this video if it was helpful, because chances are, if you're an artist, you might have some art friends too, and maybe they can benefit from seeing this video. And if you're new here, please subscribe. Also, I have a Patreon page, and basically you could, depending on what tier you contribute to, you could either just get early access to some of my content, you could get some layered files when I'm able to do that, or you could, on the higher tiers, you could either get a digital paper doll or a postcard of my art exclusively through Patreon sent to your home, if you're the highest tier. So check that out if you're so inclined, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys! So before I go, I just want to shout out my patrons. They're on the screen right now, and I just want to thank them so much for supporting me. They're always so super kind and sweet, and they help me out a lot. Thank you guys so much for being patrons.